So that's the way to intercept his heavy right there, like we just did. I don't get credit as far as the node's concerned. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's time for the first war of the season. I'm pumped up for this. Season 25, starting off against ISO8, one of the best alliances in the game in all ways, shapes, and form. Pumped up, and the timing could not have been better, right? It was not done on purpose. My BG leaders probably didn't even know. But right after I had just put out my videos explaining why I still think 5 stars are actually very important, even for in-game players, here I am. I placed my 6-star Doom on defense, and we will take a look at the defense at the end of the video and how it did. It did do very well, but here we are, and I was asked to take in Doom. There's kind of a bit of a story here, and we'll talk about it as we go through these fights, but we're starting off with this Black Widow. I was not originally assigned to this fight. This is the steady build at Fury with the long distance relationship. You can see why she's there, right? She's going to be placing those debuffs. And if you make a mistake and she's got that Fury, things could go wrong for you in theory. But I had a champion like Doom. I was supposed to take a different fight later in the map with Doom. But fortunately, Doom being who he is and how great he is, even being a 5-star, I'm able to go in and take this fight. So we're going to see just a lot of basic Doom play here. I am obviously ending with the heavy when I have the shock up. And I'm just going to kind of play Doom. Eventually work my way to the SP3. I do think I had on like Coagulate or something like that. It kind of comes into play in some later fights, but I had set my masteries for the rest of the map, and so I'm actually healing up. The bleeds from Claire aren't that strong anyway, and so we're just going to kind of be evading her SP2 and so things like that. But this was an interesting war for me. The assignments came out, and I did join with my teams, and then I think someone accidentally took the wrong path. These things happen, right? These things happen. So I ended up taking this fight, and then I ended up with a fight later in the map, which we will take a look at, that I wasn't originally assigned. And then the fight that I actually brought Doom in for was given to someone else, just the way it worked out. And so that kind of created it was kind of funny. I'll explain it. Anyways, just coming in here. So Doom cycle, we're gonna do medium, medium, and then I should do light, 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 medium, medium. But something felt off. I remember thinking that something didn't feel quite right from that. And I could have thrown this again, but I just chose not to. I decided to go ahead and bait her SP2. It just, I don't know, there was something that didn't feel right, and I'm trying to get better at that. Of if I know I have a plan and something just doesn't go right, or maybe I'm delayed, right? Sometimes this happens where like you punish a heavy late or you punish a special late. That usually ends up wrong, right? So for me, as if there's hesitation, just don't do it. Don't follow through. Have the hesitation become more of a permanent move, and then reset what I was looking for. So I was pretty happy with myself there. As on playback, as I'm watching it, it looked like everything would have been totally fine. But I was still happy that I'm changing that default behavior, that muscle memory of if there's hesitation, don't still rush in. That's almost definitely how I'm going to get parried or intercepted, or something bad is going to happen. So this fight was down, and I think the cool thing was this 5-star did great. And I believe I could have taken the fight he was originally assigned, but I took this one instead. Worked out. He did fantastically. Next, we're taking this Void on Rage. I did boost a little bit. I did kind of the math on how exactly hard Archangel would have to hit Void in order to trigger Rage, and he's just not going to hit that hard. This is one of the really nice things about Archangel and the way he works out. So this is truly just going to be about parry and heavy. Now, here was the problem for me, right? There's always something. Is the way we did the map, the person who was clearing this opening, who was clearing that fight to open up section 2 for lanes 4, 5, and 6, was not able to take it until very early in my morning, meaning I was taking the rest of my fights very early in my morning. I didn't even stream this day because I was going to be volunteering at my kids' preschool. It's a long story. Anyways, the point of the story is I was extremely busy. My mornings are busy as it is. And so I was having to take these fights very early in the morning. You can see I'm even kind of like adjusting here. I could hear my kids. I could hear what they were doing upstairs. And I'm going to go into this Guardian fight with Magneto. Magneto is a great option for it, of course, because of his lack of damage from shock, and then Guardian being metal. There's not much to worry about. I am throwing on the attack boost. I did not have that on for the Archangel versus Void fight, just in case somehow something crazy happened math-wise and I hit him hard enough to trigger rage. But we're going into this is aggression power, aggression prowess, and then power focus 2. Meaning I'm not going to be able to, I have Magneto. So I'm like, you know what, what's it matter if I just block some things? In fact, I think mutants can't even evade Magneto's Guardian's SP2 anyways. So I'm just going to play this like a regular Magneto fight. I'm going to do parry heavy. I'm seeing how much damage is coming off. And then I miss the parry. Like I said, this is pretty early in the morning. I had kind of just woken up. Now I'm taking that to the face. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to overcomplicate this fight. I'm obviously not playing well. I'm distracted. I'm rushed. But let's not overcomplicate this fight. Like, I'm just going to block these SP2s. And as you see right there, I just blocked it. I got the shock on me, but I'm actually healing from it. And then I'm missing some blocks. So I'm very aware I am not playing well. I'm very aware I'm not playing well, and that my reflexes aren't really kicking in. It is what it is. What are you going to do? They need me to take these fights. And so I did take some time off, and now we're moving on to this ebb and flow intercept Nick Fury with redoubled determination. I knew this fight was going to be coming up. I did take some time off. I took I think it was like 5 to 10 minutes. I was able to move on to another project. I could hear my kids upstairs. So I was very worried that they were going to come down and need me to do the things I normally do for them in the morning, but I just didn't have another time to take this fight. The war did appear to be very much in our hands. Looked like we had definitely won. We had some defender kills early on. So I wasn't nervous for this at all. That being said, of course, I just wanted to take it. I knew this would be my hardest fight. So with the ebb and flow intercept, redoubled determination, I did want to be very mindful about when I did place debuffs on him. I wasn't very worried about the crumbling armor. In fact, if anything, I thought that might be a way to heal up with willpower healing. So my plan is if an opportunity to intercept presented itself, I would go ahead and do it, mainly with the backdraft light. Otherwise, I was just going to do a lot of parrying heavy, and then I was just going to see how the fight was going. I potentially was going to build my way all the way to the SP3 and throw that in hopes of not until he's in his second life. But I was noticing that, like, I'm just not doing the damage that I would hope for, and I didn't want to run the risk of a timeout. So I'm going to go ahead and hold block as best I can to hopefully not take too many of these SP1s, but he's pretty happy to throw them. I'm probably not turtling up enough. By that, I mean I'm not just holding block enough. You can see I missed a parry there. It's an early morning fight. There's just not much we can do. It's the way the plan worked out. And I make those mistakes sometimes anyway, so I'm not going to blame it on that. I think here we're going to see me try for the backdraft intercept. Nope, I went ahead and I know I'm going to have one here, and I'm going to throw the light late. Again, that's just reflexes and being a little slow in the morning. There it is, right there. And I think I was just late on the light. But even still, Magneto's not taking the damage from the bleed. Like I said, I had the coagulate on. And I'm healing up from the armor break. So even still, I'm really not worried about the fight at this point. I am starting to hear a lot of noise from upstairs. As you see, I got the backdraft intercept there. Obviously, I want to do that when he does not have a bar of power. I could hear my kids running down the stairs. I'm in a room downstairs, and I'm like, they're going to come to me, and they're going to need something. Like, what am I going to do? I chose the SP3 as a time to pause it to see what would happen. I talked to them quickly, told them I would help them as soon as I could. And throw that SP3, and I'm feeling pretty good. My kids seem handled and satisfied for the next few minutes. I've got the nice damage going on here because I did land the intercept. So everything's working out pretty fine here. I think I'm going to try another. I probably should have tried another backdraft intercept there, but I didn't, and that's fine. Things are going well. Aside from that, the mistake with the being late on the light, and even that right there, like that heavy did 5,000 damage. I think that's more than adequate, even with him having the protection up. Gonna go ahead and send him to his second life here. And I don't think I mentioned it, but what I'm really trying to do is push him to his SP2. It's much more easily evaded. And the way I would do that is by holding block so that he doesn't feel like there's an opening to throw his SP1. But sometimes he's still going to throw it, like right there. What are you going to do? So we've pushed him to his SP2, or to his second life here now. And now I'm feeling really good. I don't want him to throw his SP1. And here's where I make another big mistake. I backed up twice on his heavy. That does not need to be done. I even showed it to my BG leaders, and they're like, yeah, I don't know why you did it, but I shouldn't have. You just need to back up once. There's a nice pause right there where you can totally hit him with the heavy. I did it again, and this time I whiffed. And that, I think, was really the biggest mistake. But even here, I still have a chance to get this done. I probably should have turtled up there a little bit more because he's going to go unblockable. Or in hindsight, what I really could have done is thrown my SP3. That would have pushed him over to his SP2. But, you know, live and learn. So I think that was a great learning experience. I did need to go back in. We needed me to finish this fight. So of course I healed back up to full, which is an expensive war. And then now I just need to finish this off, right? And so that's the way to intercept his heavy right there, like we just did. I don't get credit as far as the node's concerned, but take advantage of that pause. So I was happy that I was able to correct quickly, but of course I would prefer to have just done that in the first fight. Happy that the war was well in hand, and so we were gonna win. This wasn't gonna affect the outcome. And happy that I get to finish it off, right? It never feels good when you have to have a teammate finish it. Like, this was your responsibility, and plus it's an opportunity to show that I've learned a little bit from it. So I felt good about that. And now I'm just gonna bait that SP2 of his. And yeah, I didn't even punish it. And just going in and gonna finish him off. And then we'll take a look at the defenders and things like that as soon as this is done. This is a great war. ISO8 played very well. We just kind of came out on top. I think they had a couple of deaths early that put them in a hole that was gonna be tough to come out of, because for Loki, we did play very well. I think we only had 3 deaths in total. So it was a great war. I feel pretty good about my contributions to it for my BG and my alliance. And then now let's go ahead and take a look at the defense. All right, so now we can take a look at the attackers and the defenders listing. I think it's gonna be fun to track. A lot of people have asked for it, and I think it'll be fun for me even to see it. And if it fits what I think was happening, we'll see if it actually is what's happening. ISO8A in War 1, my attackers, I will designate if it was a 5-star, because typically I am taking in 6 stars. But we had 5-star Doom, who took 1 fight, Archangel, who took 1, Magneto, who took 2. One of those obviously was the death we just saw. And then moving on to the defenders, Kingpin, who was on node 22, did get 2 kills. I think that really helped create that hole that was going to be difficult for ISO8 to climb out of. Sasquatch on 26, which is the encroaching stun, did not get a kill. He often does. I bet you we see at least 1 pop up this season as he gets moved around. Doom was on 39, Thing was on 55, and then Arcus was on 19. PR numbers are not out yet. They do tend to come out a day or 2 afterwards. So I think what I'll do is I'll just update them at some point, because I probably will fall behind on war videos. But I'll update those and kind of just give an idea of like how the season's going. In general, I'm not in love with my own personal performance, of course, but the priority for me is that we won. I feel good that my defenders had more kills than I gave up. That being said, I would always prefer to go deathless to just be the best asset I possibly can for my alliance. So I'm looking forward to War 2 already. I think I can tell we have a really tough matchup coming up. So hopefully we keep this ball rolling and with great momentum. Let me know what you thought, what you think, if this is the kind of tracking you're interested in seeing. I know a couple people asked for it, and it did seem like a fun idea. And as always, I'm grateful for you watching. Thank you so much. I hope you did enjoy it, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter at Vega Gaming 583. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.